An American hero has died. We'll have the latest on the passing of an astronaut pioneer.
Plus, the names of all the victims of the Oakland fire have been released. Which ones have the local ties to San Diego?
And in entertainment, find out what force is hitting the box office.
Finally, we'll have the latest on the devastating earthquake in Indonesia. Newscene starts right now.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Newscene. I'm Jack D'Amicis.
And I'm Luzelia Caballero. Thank you for joining us.
An American hero and former astronaut passed away yesterday. John Glenn was hospitalized at Ohio State's James Cancer Hospital for more than a week before passing away at the age of 95. Glenn became a Marine pilot after the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941. He flew 59 combat missions in the South Pacific during World War II and another 63 missions during the Korean conflict. In 1959, NASA selected him as one of the first 7 astronauts for the country's space program. Glenn later acted as a NASA advisor and retired from the Marine Corps before running as a Democrat for the U.S. Senate. He served the state of Ohio for 25 years.
Dozens of people were killed after a warehouse went up in flames. Could it have been prevented? Maria Murcia has more on the developing details.
Tragedy, horror, and tragedy.
A dance party gone wrong. 36 people dead. Hundreds grieving the loss of their loved ones after an Oakland warehouse went up in flames. Known as the ghost ship to locals, this 2-story building was turned into a maze of rooms, furniture, and art. Manager and co-founder Derek Ian Almena became visibly agitated when asked who should take the blame for the inferno.
What am I going to say to that? Should I be held accountable? I can barely stand here right now. I would rather get on the floor and be trampled by the parents. I'd rather let them tear at my flesh than answer these ridiculous questions.
This after the district attorney said she's considering criminal charges against him. Almena says when he signed a lease, he, quote, got a building that was to city standards supposedly. But Jill Snyder, an ATF agent, says there was no sprinklers or fire alarm systems in the building.
This fire is the highest number of fire fatalities in the country in the last 13 years.
Investigators are still looking at previous code violations and complaints, illegal residency permits, and dangerous trash around the area.
The range of charges could be murder all the way to involuntary manslaughter.
At this point, most of the victims have been identified. Among them, 25-year-old Nick Gomez Hall from Coronado and 32-year-old Brandon Chase Wittenauer, who grew up in San Diego. Maria Murcia, Newscene.
Investigators are still looking into what caused the fire. Officials say it will take several weeks before they can come to any conclusion. Our love goes out to all the families affected in this tragedy.
In an update on the Dakota Access Pipeline, a temporary victory has fallen over the protesters at the Standing Rock. Just days after many U.S. veterans marked to the front lines of the Dakota Access Pipeline to protest, the Army Corps of Engineers put a halt to the construction. They stated they would not allow the pipeline to continue to be built. This is a huge accomplishment for the protesters that have been fighting treacherous conditions and health concerns. But the celebration may be short-lived. Energy Transfer Partners stated the temporary hold will not stop the project from being completed. When Donald Trump is inaugurated in January, he will review this matter.
San Diego City College students from the Movimiento Estudiantil Chicano de Aztlán, known as MECHA, will host a fundraiser for the Standing Rock Dakota Access Pipeline Donation Fund. The purpose of this event is to raise awareness and donations. The event will have local music, art, food, and a silent auction. A $5 donation, warm essentials like socks, blankets, and gloves, and first aid kits are suggested for the fundraiser. The event will take place at the People's Lot in Barrio Logan on December 17th from 3 to 11 p.m.
I'll be out there doing my part. I hope you guys will be. Tufts University is suspending 4 fraternities after reported incidences of sexual misconduct and hazing. This after an opinion article written about fraternities talking about these incidences at the schools, requiring all fraternities to take sexual misconduct and hazing prevention training as well as alcohol education sessions. Tufts says that there may be additional action taken given that more reports are being filed.
The San Diego Promise program, which helped over 200 college students pay for their tuition in the local community college districts, has expanded their quota to 600. The Promise program, which began its inception in 2016, helps not only pay tuition, but grants for books as well. Students in the program are required to take 12 units a semester, show academic progress, and complete over 8 hours of community service. Students who are enrolled at City, Mesa, and Miramar are eligible to apply.
7 teens are now in the Texas hospital after several years of abuse reportedly at the hands of their adopted mother. All 7 of them, who are special needs, were forced to live together in a closet roughly 5 feet by 8 feet in size. They were allegedly forced to urinate on themselves, their clothes, and were not allowed to attend school. One of the teens who had Down syndrome found that they're found in a dirty diaper.
We've been told by all the children that they didn't leave the house, that they didn't go to school, they didn't go to any medical facilities for treatment of any kind.
On Tuesday, a judge granted a settlement allowing the Child Protective Services to maintain custody of the children.
The man standing trial for killing 9 people in a black church in North Carolina is denied to have his trial delayed. Dylan Roof's defense attorney says the mistrial of a similar case may affect the jury's decision, but Judge Richard Gergel responded by saying this idea was simply far-fetched and illogical. He faces 33 charges. If convicted, he could be looking at the death penalty.
Police have arrested a man in connection with the death of a toddler in Alpine. The 18-month-old Leah Brown Meza was found dead inside a motorhome earlier this week. Wiley Foster, the boyfriend of the child's mother, was taken into custody and charged with murder. The medical examiner's office ruled the toddler's death to be homicide due to multiple blunt force trauma. The remaining autopsy details have yet to be released.
And with the story, 2 teenagers are now under arrest in connection to the wilderness around the Great Smoky Mountains National Park in Tennessee. The wildfires that started last month left 14 dead, 145 people injured. Law officials in Tennessee say the suspects are minors and are being held in the Sevier County Juvenile Detention Center. Additional charges and possibly trying the minors as adults are being too.
President-elect Donald Trump assembled his political cabinet. Find out who they are.
And the AFC West rivals battle it out for the first place in the NFL. Find out who won.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate, and it's worn like a badge of honor with good reason. Because it means love and devotion for one's country. Love. But what really makes up this country of ours? What is it we love? It's the people. Almost half the country belongs to minority groups. People who are lesbian, African American, and bi and transgender and Native American, and proud of it. After all, what's more American than freedom to celebrate the things that make us, us? This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, disability, sexuality, race, religion, and any other labels. Because the second any of us judge people based on those labels, we're not really being patriotic, are we? Because love has no labels.
We're seeing a string of retired generals being interviewed and nominated to join the Trump administration. Gabriel Salazar updates us on who Donald Trump is surrounding himself with, including those with strong military backgrounds.
I know more about ISIS than the generals do, believe me.
On the campaign trail, he trashed America's generals.
Under the leadership of Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, the generals have been reduced to rubble. They have been reduced to a point where it's embarrassing for our country.
Now as president-elect, he is surrounding himself with them.
You're next, Secretary of Defense, General Mad Dog Mattis.
The total so far, 3 and counting. Retired Marine General James Mattis for Secretary of Defense.
How about General Flynn? We love General Flynn, right?
Retired Army General Michael Flynn for National Security Advisor. And retired Marine General John Kelly for Homeland Security.
Of the Polaris missile.
A number not seen even in the administration of the last actual general to serve as president, Dwight Eisenhower.
General Eisenhower.
Beyond retired generals, Trump has also selected people with military backgrounds for key positions. Congressman Mike Pompeo, his choice to lead the CIA, is an Army vet who graduated first in his class from West Point. Steve Bannon, senior advisor and strategist, was a naval officer.
That goes against the normal ethos of having civilian control, not only of the military, but of the government at large. You have to be very careful that you bring a balance.
Trump openly talked about his pick for Secretary of Defense, General Mattis, calling him the living embodiment of the Marine Corps motto, always faithful.
And Time magazine has announced their controversial Person of the Year, Donald Trump. While this decision has many people outraged, Time magazine states that Person of the Year goes to the most influential person, for better or for worse. The cover photo shows a picture of Donald Trump with a quote, "President of the Divided States of America." There have also been controversies over the M in Time, as it appears to look as if he is wearing the devil horns. While Trump took the announcement as a great honor, he did say that he was not pleased with the quote that was included. Runner-up to Trump for the Person of the Year was also the runner-up for the presidential election, Hillary Clinton.
Donald Trump's labor deal with a Carrier National Heating and Cooling Company to keep jobs from being moved to Mexico is causing controversy. The president-elect is giving the company millions in financial incentives and tax refunds to keep 1,000 jobs in Indiana plant at an Indiana plant. But labor union representatives and workers say Trump really only saved around 700 jobs since the other 300 were never expected to move to Mexico in the first place. Earlier this year, Carrier said that they plan to close the plants in Indiana, totaling up to 2,100 jobs.
Flags flew at half-mast on Wednesday as the country remembered Pearl Harbor Day. Wednesday marked the 75th anniversary since the 2,400 American men, women, and children died due to an aerial attack from Japan. The USS Arizona Memorial is built over top of the actual USS Arizona that sank during the Pearl Harbor attacks. It remembers all the service members who lost their lives and was built in 1962.
Be sure to thank your service members. For the first time since the attack on Pearl Harbor, Japanese Prime Minister will be visiting the island. Shinzo Abe is scheduled to visit the harbor later this month along with President Obama. He hopes this will show the resolve of the horrors caused by the war. The attacks by Japan forces on Pearl Harbor forced the U.S. into a World War II.
A Pakistan plane crashed earlier this week, killing all 47 people that were on board. According to the Pakistan International Airlines, the pilot made a mayday call about a suspected engine problem just before losing contact. A flight data recorder has been recovered as investigators are trying to find out why the plane crashed. Flight PK661 was carrying 42 passengers and 5 crew members. One of the victims was a famous Pakistani pop star and singer named Junaid Jamshed, and the rest of the victims has left the nation in heartbreak.
The Copa Sudamerica will be awarded to the Brazilian soccer team that was involved in the tragic plane crash last week. As many of you recall, the Japanese soccer team were on their way to the final match in Sudamerica tournament in Colombia. 71 people died and an incredible 6 survived, and now, a week later, officials plan to crown the team from the city of Chapeco in Brazil the champions. The team will also receive a $2 million prize. A trophy ceremony is scheduled to take place in Chapeco next week.
The Chargers football team got into the holiday spirit by giving back. Members of the team visited Baker Elementary School earlier this week and gave more than 150 new bikes to students. The second and third graders gathered for an assembly they thought was to reveal, get this, an essay contest winner when the Chargers surprised them. Each year, the team works with the charity Bikes for Kids to donate bikes and gear to students attending inner city schools. The Bikes for Kids Foundation were donated, and they did donate over 40,000 bikes and helmets to those students.
Sad news this week in the world of sports. One of San Diego's own has passed away. More on the story.
Thanks a lot, guys. I come to you with a heavy heart. Former Heisman Trophy winner and San Diego native Salam Hassan was found dead in Colorado Park this last week. Salam graduated from La Jolla Country Day High School and led them to multiple CIF championships. He then went on to be an All-American running back at the University of Colorado. According to the Associated Press, there's no confirmation as to what his actual cause of death was. But Salam, although he's passed away, he touched many lives and he will surely be missed. Rest in peace. And moving on from something a little heavy to a little bit lighter, we got Thursday night football. AFC West division game between the Oakland Raiders and the Kansas City Chiefs. Raiders quarterback Derek Carr, Andy Reid, and Kansas City Chiefs are at Arrowhead Stadium tonight. We head to the second quarter where Chiefs are down 3. Helix High alum Alex Smith drops back and throws an absolute rocket to receiver Tyreek Hill for the 36-yard touchdown grab, giving the Chiefs a 7-3 lead. Later in the second quarter, the Raiders punting back to Tyreek Hill, who is the rookie sensation, catches the ball, and he is really fast. Check him out here, weaving through defenders. And there he goes, off to the races. He would eventually end up in the end zone for a 78-yard touchdown return. Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce was definitely feeling this play. Check him out here, Bucket Bronco. With only seconds left in the first half, the Raiders have the ball in the Chiefs' red zone. Raiders running back Latavius Murray takes the ball left, stretches over the end zone, and can he make it? At first on the field, the call is short. It's not a touchdown, but after closer review, you can see here the ball does cross the goal line, and Oakland Raiders get the touchdown. There you go. We head to the third quarter with the Chiefs up 21-10. Alex Smith drops back, passes across the middle, intercepted by TJ Carey, and the Raiders return for 14 yards, leads to a Raider field goal. With 2 minutes left in the game, 4th and 6, Derek Carr throws a fade. You'll see him here. He tries to throw a fade to get the game close again. Throws it back to Andre Holmes, batted down by Terrence Mitchell, and the Raiders get a turnover on downs. What a great play at home for Kansas City. The final score to this one, folks, be 21-13. Kansas City takes the win and the sole lead in the AFC West. And that's about all the time I have for sports. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you for those highlights, Brian Jeffries. That Raiders game was quite a heartbreak for Raiders fans.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. But find out what Queen Bee, Adele, and Kanye West all have in common. All coming up after the break.
Calls me googly eyes.
You know you're beautiful, right? You know that?
Even you're beautiful. I got bullied for wearing glasses. Share if you're against bullying.
We put it out there, it just took off. 3 million people have shared this post. Don't let bullies get you down. I stand with you. Our whole family's wearing glasses. I wear glasses and I'm proud.
I even have the army on my team.
All the kind comments brought my child joy. I don't feel thank you is enough.
Thanks.
Welcome back to Newscene. A North Carolina's family trip to the mall was ruined on Saturday. A 9-year-old Anthony Mays was a fat shamed by a mall Santa after telling him what he wanted for Christmas. Santa allegedly told Anthony to lay down the hamburgers and fries, which made him cry. According to Wallace, Santa Water apologized to the family.
Dunkin' Donuts has just opened its first 24-hour drive-thru in San Diego. The new shop, which opened on Tuesday, is located in National City on East Plaza Boulevard, right off the 805. I hope those that like Dunkin' Donuts took note of that. In addition to the 24-hour drive-thru, it also features the large Dunkin' Donut sign west of Mississippi. The shop is located and locally owned and operated by the disabled U.S. veteran-owned business Burton Restaurants.
After debate and controversy all over the county, a local San Diego library unveiled the first gender-neutral bathroom. The University Heights Library branch is the first public facility to comply with new state law. The new state law that signed in September requires that all single-use user toilet facilities in business and public be made gender neutral. By March of 2017, all public restrooms will be converted to show proper posting for all to use.
Construction extending the Bayshore Bikeway around the San Diego Bay began last week. Crews broke ground on Sunday to add the 2-mile segment to the existing path. With this addition, the Bayshore Bikeway will extend to 24 miles long, wrapping around the entire San Diego Bay. This $1.7 million project is expected to be completed in summer of next year.
Amazon just opened a grocery store without a checkout line. The company is testing its new service called Amazon Go in Seattle. Customers tap their cell phones on this turn site as they walk into the store, connecting them to the Amazon Prime account. Through the app, it uses sensors to track items that customers pick up. If they pick up an item and they later decide they don't want it, putting it back on the shelf, shelves remove the items from their carts. When customers leave, the charges automatically go on their Amazon account.
Terrifying video shows how a man is robbed in his home and beaten by 4 armed men. The homeowner opened the door to a fake UPS man to have a gun shoved in his face. Then 3 other armed men stormed in. They beat the homeowner with a bat for 6 minutes and tased him every time he came through.
Charged after broke off at my jawline. They took 28 staples out of my skull yesterday. And then my lip was split all the way to my nose. And concussion, of course. Just severe head trauma.
The man's wife and daughters hid in the closet while the home was robbed. Thankfully, they weren't hurt. The men got away with jewelry and collectible guns. Houston police are asking for the public's help in identifying these 4 men.
A personal masterpiece by a world-renowned artist is on display in Pasadena today. Vincent van Gogh's Bedroom, which is painted back in 1889, is one of 5 different versions, 3 of which can be seen in museums. Bedroom is on a loan until March 6th at the Norton Simon Museum. For more information, go to nortonsimon.org.
A lot happening in the music and film world. I don't know about you, but I can't wait to see the new Star Wars movie.
I'm pretty excited about it.
Sam, what do you have for us?
Hello everyone. Now, this week's Grammy nominations were released, and Beyoncé is the name that reigned the supreme for the most nominations. The B in Beyoncé must stand for bad or brilliant, because she leads this year's Grammy with 9 nominations for Album of the Year, Song of the Year, and Record of the Year. Within those 3 categories, Beyoncé will be battling Adele, who is also up for the same awards. Following behind with the 8 nominations are the likes of Kanye West, Drake, and Rihanna. The Grammys are the rest to set be hosted by James Corden of The Late Show, Sunday, February 12th. I also have something else going on that has to do with the Force resident. That has to do with X-Men. Now, the Force residents in all of the U.S., yes, that's right, folks. Star Wars is back in theaters and even in the streets of Hollywood. With stars, Rogue One hitting theaters December 16 and already looking to make a big splash in the box office. They moved from the box office in the streets. On Hollywood Boulevard, the X-Wing Starfighter replica jet is assembled and waiting for the premiere is taking place Saturday at Pantages Theaters. May the Force be with you all who happen to be in the LA area, because traffic is designed to be hectic. Now, I also have something else going on, and it has the art exhibit in downtown San Diego. It's getting some well-deserved attention. It features to be a selection of artwork from Los Angeles artist Sandro Burke. The works center around the themes of global concerns and criminal justice. The gallery is curated by SDSU professor Tina Japili. The exhibition and events are sponsored by the School of Art Design, the college and professional students in fine arts, Arts Alive at the SDSU. The event is free and opens to public from Thursday through Monday from 11 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon. The deprivities of the amount exhibition tour runs through January 29th. The gallery is looked at 725 6W Broadway downtown. Now, the last one that I have going on for you is Lady Gaga in open interviewing disclosed that she suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder, also known as PTSD. Now, the admission was made amongst a group of LGBT people in New York and homeless center. Now, that's all I have for you today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sam. I'll be sure to check out that gallery in downtown. It sounds extremely interesting. Jack, are you going to go see the Star Wars movie?
Am I going to go see the Star Wars movie? Coming up after the break, Gabe Salazar has the latest on the cold weather that is here to stay.
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
And Gabe Salazar is here to tell us all about the weather for this week. Gabe?
Thanks, guys. Now, more than 100 people have been killed in an earthquake that hit in Indonesia's Aceh province. Now, the 6.5 magnitude earthquake struck on Wednesday morning, and the Red Cross has said that it damaged many homes and buildings, and that many of the residents are either out in shelters or just out in the streets. This week has had a whirlwind of bizarre weather, especially with all the snowstorms that hit all across the U.S., even reaching Hawaii, my home state, getting some of the action with 3 inches of snow. Luckily, here in San Diego, we've been having some relatively nice temperatures, so moving our way to our current San Diego temperatures. Oceanside Vista area is going to stay average in the high 50s. Moving our way to La Jolla, San Diego area, it's going to be in the high 50s to low 60s. IB and Chula Vista area is going to be in the mid 60s to low 60s. And moving our way to our current national temperatures, my weekend weather forecast. Today is going to be staying highs in the mid 60s, and tonight is going to stay lows in the mid 50s. Saturday night it's going to be highs in the mid 60s and lows in the high 50s. And moving our way to our current national temperatures. Frigid temperatures all across the top states. Highest temperature is going to be 36 degrees in Washington, all the way down to -2 degrees. And moving our way to the West Coast is going to be in the mid-50s to low 40s. East Coast is going to be in the 20s to 30s. And moving our way in Texas and Florida area is going to be in the low 30s to mid-40s. That's all I have for this weather forecast. Back to you guys at the desk.
And that's all we have time for.
Thank you for joining us in our last newscast for the fall semester.
See you in the spring.
Happy holidays.